Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today, we're going to be taking a look at this post-game interview from G2, Rekkles, and Lore from this past weekend. We are kind of getting ready and getting hyped up and anticipated for this next week of the LEC. It's going to be very, very fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. But obviously, one of the big stories to start the LEC season, and really we expected this, was it's all about G2 right now. How good are they? How good are they going to be able to be? Are they going to go 18-0? How well is Rekkles going to fit in with this team? And people are really just kind of watching and analyzing and talking about and discussing every single thing that this team is doing, and so far things are clicking on all cylinders. It's so good to see. It's so good to hear about. But yeah, all these guys are so just talented, obviously on the riff, but off the riff, you know, their social media is popping off. They're giving interviews all over the place. They're having a ton of quotes and stuff, and it's just so fun and interesting to follow. So in this video today, obviously, again, we're going to be going over this interview, and one of the more interesting lines that Rekkles said in this interview, and we'll be breaking that down, giving my thoughts and opinions on all that. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you're not already subscribed, definitely click that subscribe button really quick. You guys know the drill. It's fast, it's free, it's easy, helps you guys stay up to date on all my latest content, and I would appreciate it so much. We're trying to run up those numbers. We're getting closer and closer to 6,300 subscribers. That would be so dope to hit that number. Also, dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy my content, if you just want to help me out, if you want to support me, or if you enjoy this video, because that helps me out a ton as well, and helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. So I would appreciate that, and that would be super awesome. With that being said, here we go. Let's get right into this. So, Laura asks about, you'll hear her ask a question, but they're kind of talking about how this G2 roster maybe compares to some other Fnatic rosters that he's played on previously, which is obviously a good question. So let's see what Rekkles has to say, the man of the hour.
Before the game, we saw a short segment of you. You were talking about the fact that G2 players are friends outside the game, which is not maybe something you had with Fnatic because you were teammates who get along well. But tell me about this extra link that you have now with the G2 players and how much it impacts the performance you have in-game, actually.
So I want to pause it real quick and say something that it is interesting that they note that you know, rather than being like friends outside of the game who play together and are able to kind of just you know, play together, communicate, and do everything they need to do. Talking about being teammates, I know some people talk about them being like work friends. We've heard that as like a meme before on certain teams. And yeah, you don't have to be like best friends or whatever with all the people you play with. You know, you guys are co-workers. You guys should be, you know, at least friendly with each other. Obviously, you want to have good synergies and stuff. But yeah, when we see these special teams come together where everyone does seem like they're friends and want to hang out outside of the game and stuff. I know TSM talks about how that was really like how 2016 TSM was, how they all connected so well. And yeah, G2, I think it's one of the reasons that people love them so much is they do just seem so like fun and energetic, and like they are having a great time together while playing such high level League of Legends, while you know, smashing people all over the place. And yes, a lot of people say that's easier to do when you have a super talented team like 2016 TSM, like G2 right now. But I mean, these G2 players, even if they were losing a little bit, I don't feel like they would kind of be going at each other or anything like that. Yeah, it might hurt morale a little bit, but man, these teams that can come together and really be like friends, I think it helps everything so much. It helps the environment. It makes you guys want to play together more. It makes you guys trust each other more on calls and just like about the game and drafts and all this stuff. And you know that you have each other's back and all that, and you know that even if you go through like a bad game or a bad week or a bad series or even a bad split, that you know, you have people there that have your back and are ready to back you up, and I feel like that can just inspire you to play so much better. So I don't think it's a coincidence that we see a lot of these great teams being real close outside of the game and having awesome connections, because I think it helps in and off like inside the rift and outside the rift so much. I really don't think that should be understated. Again, it's not like you have to be best friends, but I do think that having those better and better connections can really help out a lot more than so even some people kind of realize. So I think that was interesting to start off with a question like this.
Honestly, I think it helps a lot. I feel like if we're on good terms outside of the game, we will also be on good terms inside of the game. And I feel like the last time I had a team like this was probably like 2015 Fnatic.
So there's another thing. I think that is super interesting that he is comparing this team to 2015 Fnatic. So if I need to remind you guys about 2015 Fnatic, we're obviously talking about 2015 Summer Fnatic, not Spring Fnatic, where Rekkles was not a part of it. 2015 Fnatic, this is Huni, Reignover, Febiven, Rekkles, and Yellow Star. And if we take a look at that EULCS 2015 Summer, you will see that Fnatic went 8 15-0. This was the perfect split, and I believe it's the only perfect split we've ever seen between the EU LCS, LEC, and the regular NA LCS, LCS, whatever you want to call it now. So that is really, really interesting, and obviously that's a comparison that a lot of people are making right now, saying, will this G2 team go 18-0? Obviously, they're talented enough to do it, but we've seen a lot of talented teams before, even some of the past G2 teams that are talented enough to do it, but do they have the desire to do it? Do they want to do it? Do they care to do it? And can they be consistent enough to do it? Because again, when you play this fast, crazy, chaotic playstyle that G2 does, especially in best of ones, you're gonna drop some games. You know, they want to try out new drafts, they want to try out new picks, but they also want to limit test and really push themselves to see how great they can be, because they're not playing for LEC championships at the end of the day. They're playing for world titles, they're playing for MSI titles. So sometimes you have to drop a game here and there to a random team, even though it's, you know, you don't have to and you probably shouldn't. It is going to happen when we're trying out different stuff. But you know, we talked about previously how Rekkles had in an interview that G2 should go 18-0. They're talented enough and they have a good chance to do it. So it's just, you know, the more comparisons that he's making to that 2015 Fnatic team, it's interesting. You know, he does see a lot of similarities with this team. Honestly, when we go take a look at how that team performed at Worlds, you know, they went 4-2 in their groups. They had a group of AHQ, Cloud9, and Invictus. They went 4-2. They were the 1 seed. That was awesome. That meant that they got an easier matchup in the first round of the quarterfinals. They got to play against EDG, who they 3-0'd. They made the semifinals. That was a really big deal. That was awesome. That was exciting. But they got 3-0'd by the KU Tigers in the semifinals, so maybe it wasn't super, super exciting. So, you know, while it is cool to hear some comparisons to 2015 Fnatic, a team that went 18-0, that was super, super hyped, super exciting. They made it to the semifinals, which was, it's always a big deal, but even back then, it was maybe an even bigger deal. Really got European fans really, really excited. Origin made the semifinals that year too. G2 obviously wants much more than that. G2 making to the semifinals and getting 3-0'd would be a huge, massive disappointment. I think really this season anything other than a World Finals appearance, and if they get 3-0'd in the World Final, that still might even be a disappointment. So yes, while it is good to hear some of these comparisons, you know, and the G2 team definitely wants this. I'm not saying that they would be fine with this, but, you know, they need to be aiming higher. They need to be shooting for more. So, yeah, it is fun and cool for Rekkles to be like, yeah, it reminds me of my, you know, undefeated team, and I hope we can do that stuff again. This team has higher expectations, has higher goals, and they need to be aiming for more than that. Yeah, if they go 18-0, that's awesome, but if they, you know, lay an egg at MSI, if they lay an egg at Worlds, that's going to suck, and that's not really what this team is built for. So I do hope that they can, you know, knock out some of this stuff, but I do hope, obviously, that they're able to go higher and achieve more than that 2015 Fnatic roster was able to do, and I know that they hope that as well, and I really hope that all the LEC fans want that for this team too.
Where we were also really close to each other, so it's been a long time coming since I felt like this close to my teammates, but also I feel like it could be a bit of a honeymoon phase. Like if we're winning every scrim and now also potentially winning every game on stage, then it's of course going to be easy to like be on good terms. So I think the interesting part of this will be when we don't do so well. I think that's when you truly see like each other's colors, and hopefully then we can stand strong to one another.
Of course.
Now, to me, that answer was a little bit weird because, yes, I get what he's saying. It might be a honeymoon phase. You know, they're just linking up. Everything's fresh. They have a ton of new connection stuff. Obviously, everyone's, you know, trying to get to know Rekkles and meet him and, you know, probably being pretty cool to him right at the beginning. But to say that when things go, you know, when you start losing some game stuff, maybe things go bad, I think that's a little bit weird. I think that's kind of a weird outlook and weird take and kind of like just an unhealthy kind of state of mind, because this G2 team has been through everything. They've been 3-0'd at the World Finals. They got knocked out of the semifinals last year. They've had weeks where they've looked terrible in the LEC and they've dropped games to some teams that they should have never lost to. This G2 team has been through bad weeks and bad times and bad stuff together, and they have always come out stronger, and they're still friends. They still have each other's back. So yes, even though Rekkles is new to this whole environment in this team, the rest of the players on this roster have been through that all. So, I mean, to have any worries about them not being able to kind of keep the same positivity and attitudes and play style and mindset and friendship and everything, if just stuff starts to go a little bit bad, I mean, that's kind of weird. And maybe it's just the fact that Rekkles has been through some teams who have kind of broken down when times have gotten tough previously, you know, so I don't blame him. Obviously, I'm sure he expects differently with this team, but I think he should have a little bit higher expectations. I think he should look at this a little more positively. He is with a team that has literally been through it all together. They have had the highest highs, and they've also had some lows together. I mean, they've gone through some embarrassing moments, and they've always come out stronger. And they're still to this point where they are right now. So in my head, I'm thinking they have absolutely nothing to worry about. But I do think it is really, really awesome and really, really exciting that Rekkles seems very, very genuinely happy and excited to be playing with this team. So I think that's awesome. That if he wasn't, I don't think he was unhappy in Fnatic, but I think there was definitely that team had some issues as far as just overall. It sounds like companionship and friendship and just overall work environment. Obviously, we're probably not as good of a team as G2 on paper anyway, or on the Rift this year. So he really got to just a better environment, a better place. Hopefully, it is just an overall better situation for him that makes him happier, enjoy life more, but also he has a chance to obviously be way more successful and compete for a world title. So again, I get what he's saying, that yes, it is fresh right now, and yeah, they're beating up on teams in scrims, they're beating up on teams on stage. It's easy to be all happy and friends and blah 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 blah. But this G2 team, that's just who they are. It seems like they are just joking, memeing, just guys that just have a ton of fun and just are also very, very good at League of Legends and take what they do very, very seriously. So I don't think there's any concerns here about if they start to drop some games or they lose a game here and there, things kind of going downhill. As long as Rekkles is buying into the situation and is down for everything that they have, then there shouldn't really be anything to worry about. But a couple weeks in, the LEC tweeted this out the other day. We see the KDA leaders. We have Rekkles at the top with 47. I think my head's in the way a little bit. I don't know if you can see the rest of it, but we have Jankos with a 9.75 sitting at 4th right now. So G2 is obviously out to an amazing start. They're 3-0. Rekkles is balling out. Jankos is looking good so far to start the season. All the G2 members are doing awesome. And they're looking like a really, really scary team. Obviously, you see a lot of Rogue up there as well. People are really, really getting hyped up for that G2 Rogue matchup. But again, Rekkles is making a lot of comparisons back to his old teams, back to the old glory, but he's also saying that this G2 team is a little bit different, and obviously they want to accomplish different things. And that is very, very exciting. That's getting me hyped up, and I'm sure that's getting a lot of the European and G2 fans hyped up as well, and hopefully rightfully so. So hopefully we just continue to see this G2 team continue to ball out, continue to show out, and just be absolutely dominant. But, I hope Rogue gives them good games. I hope those can be fun and exciting. I hope Fnatic is able to ramp up and compete with them as well, because I want the West to have some good, strong teams. I want there to be some competition. But man, as G2 continues to go for that 18-0, it's going to be so fun to watch. And I think it's really going to get fans so involved and really into every single game that they're playing. And that's always a great thing for League of Legends esports as a whole. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Helps me out so much with the YouTube algorithm, so I would appreciate it greatly. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about everything that Rekkles is saying? Do you think this team is like the 2015 Fnatic team in a way? Do you think they have a chance to go 18-0? Do you think they're going to do it? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to update on the latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!